everyone. We are back with yet another video of the My Journey series, where we showcase the inspiring journey of successful people through various walks of life. I'm Sanjay from DAV Data Solutions. I'll be the host today. And today with us, we have Anisha Bafna, who works at NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory as an Earth Science Applications and Water Policy Intern. She holds a rich academic background with a Bachelor of Science from UCI and also currently pursues a Master at University of Pennsylvania along with her NASA internship. So that was a very brief intro about yourself, like just from your LinkedIn profile. But can you give some introduction about yourself and get started?
Yeah, of course. So I did my undergrad at University of California, Irvine with BS in Earth System Science, and I also did a minor in informatics. So that's when I got interested in this technical sphere of Earth System Science. I am currently pursuing my master's in applied geosciences at the University of Pennsylvania, and I'm doing concentration in GIS, which is Geographic Information Systems. And I will be graduating in May 2022. Simultaneously, for the past 2 years, I've also been working at NASA Jet Propulsion Lab as an Earth Science and Water Policy intern, and I've been fortunate enough to develop my skills for remote sensing, geospatial analytics, environmental science, computer programming, and that has sort of cultivated my academic and professional interests in using GIS and remote sensing techniques to solve climate and environmental challenges.
Got it. Welcome to the show, Anisha. It's great to have you here. So to start with, you've thrown us a lot of terms, right? Like geoinformation system, Earth system sciences. Can you just explain the field and the major terms like GIS, Earth system science, and geospatial analytics?
Of course. So Earth system science is basically the study of the interconnected components of the environment. So there is hydrosphere, biosphere, atmosphere, and cryosphere, lithosphere. So how all of these components interact with each other and their dynamics is what I study. Geospatial analytics is basically the gathering and display and manipulation of imagery, GPS, satellite photography, and historical data. And geospatial analytics rely on basically geographic coordinates or geographic locations. So it involves a lot of basically mapping and analytics of that particular geographic area. So that is what my basic career and professional interests are. Yeah.
Got it. Just one question. How do we differentiate geosciences from Earth system science, or is it both more or less the same?
It's very interconnected. Earth system science is I would say a more broad perspective because it's just studying all the components. Yeah.
Got it.
Of the Earth system, yeah.
Got it. And how did you get started with this space? Like when did you how did you hear about this space, this interesting field, firstly yourself, and how did you get started and wanted to pursue a career?
Yeah, so Earth system science was just a course I decided to take because I'm very interested in environmental sciences, and I've always been very interested in climate change and environment and just the dynamics that interact with it and how it's changing every day. And I thought that would be a great professional path to follow as well. During my undergrad, I got interested in this technical aspect of Earth system science and how we can use like remote sensing and imagery and programming techniques to analyze various dynamics on Earth. So that's when I got interested in that, and I decided to pursue my minor in informatics. So yeah, and then eventually when I started working at NASA JPL, I got further interested in geospatial analytics and mapping and cartography in general, and that's what I am pursuing my concentration in at my graduate school. So yeah.
And the field of geospatial analytics is kind of right in the intersection. You've talked about computer programming and geo information systems.
Yeah.
It is in the intersection. So we at DAV also, what we do is like we try to apply data science to various sustainability development goals, and we have a premium event into Data Week coming up. So if people you want to sign up, I'll put the link below. You can check. So after a quick shout out, I want to delve deep into your geospatial analytics projects. Like, you've been working with NASA, which is a very great feat in itself. So can you walk us through any of the projects which you did in NASA?
Yeah. So I've been working with NASA's Water Resources Program, and we focus on building projects that use Earth observations to address like 21st century water challenges like water quality and water infrastructure, floods and drought extremes, etc. I mainly work with water quality. A project that I can talk about is a recent project which I co-authored and was published last month, 2 months ago. And it investigates the changes in water quality along the coastal watersheds in California after the Woolsey fire of 2018. And we noted huge increases in fecal indicator bacteria and turbidity after the Woolsey fire.
Sorry to interrupt. Just can you let me know what turbidity means and
turbidity is a measure. Yeah, so turbidity is a measure of how hazy the water is. Okay. So we noted that after the Woolsey fire, through Earth observations, we and through remote sensing data, we noted that there were huge increases in fecal indicator bacteria and turbidity of the coastal water quality along the Southern California coast. So it involved extensive use of GIS for mapping the turbidity plumes, and I was involved in architecting like geospatial algorithms for the temporal and spatial analysis of these turbidity plumes and processing the remote sensing data to the various required water quality parameters.
Got it. So like the press release is here, like you have done it, but what would you say as the major contribution you've done through this whole project?
I would say, I was involved in the turbidity aspect of like the turbidity analysis of the Woolsey fire. I was involved in building the geospatial algorithms for the turbidity plumes and mapping these turbidity plumes and calculating the extent of the surface area to which the plumes were contaminating the water.
Got it. So this is an interesting field, right? Like, you analyze things, like you do data science, but you do work on, you do analytics on things which actually happened, like things which actually, for example, the fire, or things which correlate with the nature, right? So we always believe that data science is a tool and it can be applied to various fields. And this is one of the fields which people don't tap into for a commercial perspective, but people like you working in NASA and working in like a research or inclined space are doing it in a much insightful way. So that was great to hear from you. So let's just take a step back. I wanted to understand, how did you get into NASA? Because that itself is a great feat, right?
I just applied online. There is a program at JPL called the year-round internship program, and that's what I applied for. And luckily I got in, and it's been one of the best experiences of my life.
Got it. And if I'm not wrong, you're pursuing your masters in parallel, right? So how do you say your masters have paid way, and how are you managing both? Like, it sounds hectic, but for a person who did bachelors and 2 minors, I don't think it's hectic still.
It's definitely been hectic, but I'm able to use a lot of the skills and techniques that I learned during my masters at work. I've learned various softwares like GIS even, and QGIS, ArcGIS, and other softwares which are part of the SD suite.
Can you walk us through any one of the tools which you use in like geospatial analytics?
Yeah, so we use GIS, which is Geographic Information System. So we use ArcGIS, and it's available to download. I think you need a license for it, but QGIS is freely available to anyone who might be interested in further exploring this field. Other than that, there's Google Earth Engine, which is entirely in JavaScript or Python, whichever you're comfortable with, and you can use remote sensing data and manipulate data and visualize it. So that was another thing I learned during my masters.
Got it. So anybody who wants to start in this field, like what are the tools or what are the skill sets they should equip themselves with?
Yeah, I would say QGIS and Google Earth Engine are two freely available open source softwares that you can download online, and you will be able to. There are a lot of like tutorials on it also. If you just look it up on YouTube or even on their channel or even on their website for that matter, they have some pretty creative, innovative solutions for using Earth observations to understand. Just not even just environmental dynamics. I mean, any kind of data on Earth.
Got it. And is there any specific, like for example, I'm a computer science graduate. If I'm interested to explore it and I'm interested to get into this science field, should I take a master's in it, or can this be a side thing? Like I can, if I'm interested in it and I don't have a professional education, would this still be the right career for me?
Maybe as a career, you might need a degree, very honestly. But if you just want to develop your skills for it and, add something to your resume or just your skill set in general, it's entirely possible to do it on your own. Like you can easily educate yourself on Google Earth Engine or QGIS. There are various resources, softwares, programs. Yeah.
Got it. And other than your work-related aspect, how is NASA a workplace to work like the overall experience and the ambience out there?
So unfortunately, I got to go to their office only for 2 days because the pandemic hit in. But it was a pretty spectacular place. The campus is amazing, and we got to see the Mars rover before it took off. It was pretty exciting.
That sounds like an exciting workplace to be in. Yeah. Do you have any questions or anything you want to discuss with the audience?
I would just say that if you are interested in pursuing this field, I mean, there are a lot of resources online that you can educate yourself with. And you can obviously always reach out to me if you have anything in particular that you would want to discuss. And I would just say that earth science is it's a developing field, and it's so relevant in today's time where literally from the air we breathe to the food we eat, everything revolves around environmental and earth system science. So it's a very interesting sphere to get into, and I would encourage everyone to explore it further.
So how do the people reach out to you? Via LinkedIn, anything? Or
you can reach out to me via LinkedIn, or you can reach out to me at my personal email, which is anisha.a.bafna@gmail.com.
Thanks a lot. I think that would be really helpful. Okay, Anisha, I think that's it from our end. Like, you've given us a brief overview on what the space is and how you started with NASA and all those things. Basically, this field is something I'm really interested to explore in, because it's not like a traditional subject that here in India we study at any of your courses or anything. But this seems like a great value because it connects the hottest topic, which is data science, and with the nature, right? Earth system science is closely connected with nature. So thanks you once again for coming to our show, and wishing you all the very best for your good endeavor.
Thank you very much.